Hi, I'm Shaul. In the last video I showed you a frame grab from a video by Julia Trotti. She went out on a photo shoot with a model where she compared three Nikon 35mm primes. The 35mm f1.2, the 35mm f1.4 and the 35mm f1.8. Those are three different lenses made for different purposes. Represent perhaps the whole spectrum of the modern landscape of optics made for mirrorless systems. The 35mm f1.2 is a top-end professional lens. It is quite heavy. It's over a kilogram in weight. It costs quite a lot. The asking price for it is almost $3,000. The 35mm f1.8 is still a very well-corrected lens. It's an S-line lens, but it's a lot smaller. It only weighs around 400 grams, a little bit more than that. And the asking price is around $700 to $750. The 35mm f1.4 is a more affordable lens. It's not as well corrected, and it only costs around $500, I think, last time I checked. And indeed, when looking at test charts, the 35mm f1.2 is one of the best lenses ever made for any system. I asked you to pick out the rendition you like the most out of those three. When looking at the whole image, like people tend to do, usually this is the way we look at photographs. We do not scrutinize them too much. We do not magnify them to observe the way tiny details are rendered. We just stand at a comfortable viewing distance and look at the whole frame. You might think it's not a fair comparison. One of those lenses is clearly better in any conceivable way than the others. So let's have a look at the results of this survey. Indeed, it was almost a clean sweep. One of these renditions was much preferred over the others. It turns out around 90% of the respondents to this poll preferred the rendition of the most affordable lens out of those three, the 35mm f1.4. It might surprise you. It doesn't really surprise me. I was under the same impression when I first looked at that comparison. If you want to know what makes this rendition different or preferable, let's have a look at the perceived dimensionality or poppiness of these renderings. Around 80% of the respondents thought that the 35mm f1.4 was more three-dimensional in a way than the other two renditions made by the f1.2 and f1.8 lenses. The Nikon 35mm f1.2 contains 4 ED elements, which explains why it is so sharp and contrasty, even at the smallest detail levels. The 35mm f1.8 contains 2 ED elements that also makes it rather sharp, rather crisp and detailed, while the 35mm f1.4 does not contain any ED glass. Tiny details are less visible, less accentuated in the rendering of this lens. And this is exactly what gives it that poppiness. The reduced visibility or contrast of small details does not distract from the appearance of larger surfaces. The image represents the natural curvature, which gives the image this sense of weight, of volume, of dimensionality that we are used to see with our native eyes. The results of these polls are almost on a I rest my case level. The preference for the dimensional rendition that affect the whole experience of the viewer is overwhelming. Now, someone in the comments claimed that 3D pop is only one aspect of the rendering. The preferred look will depend a lot on what you are trying to photograph. Well, it's similar to saying that the sun is only one aspect of the solar system. Considering how we look at images, how most viewers will look at your photographs, it's by far the most important aspect. The funny thing is that this Nikon 35mm f1.4, which I own, is not even my poppiest, my most pleasing 35mm lens. It's somewhere in the middle among all the 35mm lenses I shoot or I own. The king of pop is actually the predecessor to this lens. It's the 35mm f1.4 G lens made for the F mount that used to be the top-end Nikon lens at this focal length. The 35 f1.4Z is it's much nicer than other lenses made these days, but it is still a little bit too well corrected. Wide open will still appear nice and poppy and three-dimensional, but as you stop it down, it will lose these characteristics gradually. This lens is very well corrected for astigmatism, and all its aberrations or flaws tend to disappear as you stop the aperture down. All the lenses that do not have such perfectly matched sphericals tend to still have some astigmatism, which gives you an insurance against the loss of dimensionality when stopping the lens down. The level of correction in lens design, in lens manufacturing, has gone a little bit too far. Nowadays, new lenses are very crisp and sharp and contrasty, but they are removed from the way we see. They are best suited for scientific applications, not for human vision. In scientific applications, the purpose of the photograph is to be a collection of data that is later interpreted by other instruments. Photographs made for the enjoyment of human beings are different. They are supposed to communicate emotions sometimes. In certain genres, they are supposed to show the viewer the experience of what the photographer went through, what they felt while taking those photographs. And this natural way of rendering the image offered by those cheaper, flawed lenses is more authentic. If you've been following my channel for a while, you might blame me for evangelizing those points. And perhaps you'll be right. However, recently my views got some support from an unexpected source. In a recent presentation, this is what Adam Mosseri, the CEO of Instagram, had to say in this context. Well, I'll just quote some of his points. He says, the camera companies are betting on the wrong aesthetic. They're competing to make everyone look like a pro photographer from 2015. But in a world where AI can generate flawless imagery, the professional look becomes the tail. Flattering imagery is cheap to produce and boring to consume. People want content that feels real. Savvy creators are leaning into unproduced, unflattering images. In a world where everything can be perfected, imperfection becomes a signal. Well, this is exactly the point of dirty photography, that prefers authenticity over perfection. Dirty photography embraces flaws and technical imperfections that are intrinsic to the process of photography, trying to use them as cues to the physical process of making photographs. Mr. Mosseri addresses this issue from the point of view of AI slope and how to differentiate it from real, authentic photography made by humans. However, I think that those principles work even without the larger context of how images are made, whether by a camera, by a physical, mechanical process, or by software, by synthesis. Images that feel real, that resemble our native vision, that look more weighty, that have some volume, some feeling of space, are better preferred by most viewers, as the results of this survey clearly show. Adam Mosseri writes, rawness isn't just aesthetic preference anymore. It's proof, it's defensive, a way of saying this is real because it's imperfect. For most of my life, he says, I could safely assume photographs or videos were largely accurate captures of moments that happened. This is clearly no longer the case, and it's going to take us years to adapt. Again, he's talking about the proliferation of AI-generated imagery. Perfect images obtained from perfect lenses like the Nikon 35 f1.2 and f1.8 are easy to fake using AI software, because this is what those models were trained on. Lens testers and reviewers, especially the young ones, have a blind spot in their visual literacy. We have a lot of work to do in order to make them see, to reveal the importance of looking at the whole image. They tend to look at the image at large magnifications, tend to seek image attributes that are invisible to the actual viewer, that looks at the image as a whole from a proper viewing distance. Hopefully, once they see it and start communicating the importance of the overall rendering of image dimensionality, lens manufacturers will take notice. Currently, I think only Nikon and Hasselblad consistently consider these issues. We need more modern lenses that are suited to support the capabilities of modern cameras, that still hold this poppy rendering. It is pleasing to us, that is more natural. Right, I think this will do for today. If you like this channel and wish to support it, please consider buying me a coffee. There's a link down in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and see you again soon.